Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Dr. Homebrew. This show is the Mexican Lager Show. Actually, it's the Doctor's Homebrew show, because what we've been talking about for a couple months now between us on our internal chat, our boys chat, is that we should be homebrewing together. Let's homebrew a recipe. Same recipe. Let's come up with it. It'll be a good show. So we talked about it the other day, and we said, you know what, Mexican lager. Let's do that. Taryn's been asking me for a Mexican lager, and I'm like, okay. It's actually, instead of that pale ale, I was almost going to make a Mexican lager. I was like, I don't really want to. So I pitched it to you guys agreed, and then I thought, well, we can't just come up with one out of thin air. We have to drink commercial examples. Yeah. So I went to the store and sort of went ham on the Mexican lager aisle, which it doesn't exist, but there should be.
I don't think I agree to drinking 4 Mexican lagers on one show.
Well, you don't have to finish them.
I would not agree to it.
Right. We don't have to finish them. But so my thought process in this was that we can, just take sips of, of them and sort of jot down the flavor compounds that we enjoy from each beers. We don't have to call them out. And then take a break, then we come back, and then we craft the recipe sort of based on what we've been tasting and if we want to do something else. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It's sort of like commercial calibration, but to generate a recipe.
Okay.
Right? Something like that.
I'm going to make me do a cereal mash. You're going to make me do a cereal mash.
Do you have to do that?
Well, you can use flaked.
See, there you go, Cooper. It's like I tell my kid, if you have a problem, there's always a solution.
But I'm going to be brewing in my spaghetti pot. So that's going to be... We're going to have all kinds of different techniques and equipment and everything else, and it's going to be really kind of fun to see what happens.
I think so too. Brian, do you want my Pico brew? You can have it.
I had one a while back, and I used it for a little bit, and then the company went under, and then it was going to require more programming skill, I think, to utilize than I have.
No, I'm still using mine.
Okay. Maybe I'm just bad at technology.
Well, maybe Cooper can help you.
I can help you get started on it.
Yeah.
We'll chat.
Right. Okay. That'd be cool. But before we do that, I want to tell you about 5-Star Chemicals. Of course, everybody knows 5-Star because they're the best in the business. But if you want to learn a little bit more about them, go to 5starchemicals.com. And while you're over there, sign up for the Homebrew Club program. You can go to 5starchemicals.com/homebrew-club-program if you want to do it the long way, or my preferred way is just explore the website, because they have a lot of cool information out there, a lot of new products that I didn't really even know about, and the best ways to clean and sanitize your home brewing equipment. So check them out. While you're there, join that homebrew club. Like I mentioned, you can get discounts, free stuff, monthly seminars to learn a little bit more about this hobby we love so much. So thanks to 5-Star for supporting us through this whole journey, and thanks for cleaning all of my stuff. That's all I use. PBW, man. I love it so much. It's good stuff.
It's hard to imagine, hard to remember the time before there was 5-Star. And seriously, it made such everything they had made such a difference in homebrew. It really can't be overstated as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because it used to be just, I was after bleach. I wasn't around for the bleach times.
Oh God, I was.
In like the 80s or whatever, but then it was just iodophor as a sanitizer, but there was never really, jog my memory, there was never really a cleaner.
Right. I would just clean with hot water.
Hot water.
And then use the iodophor. So you were skipping a step, basically. You were kind of cleaning, but not really fully cleaning.
Right.
And getting all
you
those
had
organics.
to make like a bleach solution that was maybe just enough bleach in your combination of bleach and water, and then let it dry and hope it wasn't going to give you chlorophenols. It was always going to give you chlorophenyls. It's fucking bleach. It's a terrible idea to use that in anything you're going to make food or drinks out of.
Yeah. But so the impact of 5-Star on the homebrewing community cannot be understated or overstated.
It really can't.
I guess. Yeah, it's
really can't.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. All right, let's drink some Mexican lagers, dudes. What do you think?
Let's do it.
What do you think?
I'm
Let's do
excited.
it. Yeah, I'm excited too. Okay. We should probably do it in order. The first one, Taco Truck Lager. What do you think?
Let's
Taco
do it.
truck from Dust Bowl.
From
Okay.
Dust Bowl Brewing Company, 4.7%. I'm excited for this because I've always seen this on the shelf, but never bought it.
Brewed in Turtle Rock, California.
I don't know why. So we have 4 beer. We have Dust Bowl, AleSmith. Of course, we have Modelo, and then Farmers Brewing. I tried to find El Sully, but my friggin' Bevmo was out.
Oh
So,
no.
Apologies in advance to Sully for not having El Sully represented because I'm sure it would be the best one.
El Sully's freaking awesome. It's
Yeah,
a
it's
really
good
great
stuff.
beer.
Yeah. All right, Taco Truck Lager. This says, say hola to this easy drinking Mexican style lager, crisp, smooth, and refreshing. That's just how Taco Truck rolls. All right. So look at that. It's a big giant head on that thing.
Mhm.
Pretty good. Not crystal clear, but it's okay.
I know. I might say mine is crystal clear.
Oh, maybe it's just mine.
Hmm.
Well, that means a touch a little
No,
cloudy, but not really.
There's a light little haze in mine.
Okay. I'm just being overly excited about Taco Truck Lager. So
First of all, this is actually really good. I say actually.
it
I say that all the
really
time.
is.
I don't mean it as like, oh, well, I didn't really. I mean, maybe I did. I don't know. I sort of like judge beers by their names, like you do with wine. You're like, I don't really know what the fuck I'm looking for. So I look for like the artwork and the name. I don't know. Taco Truck, it just
It's not-
doesn't really, it's
Not
not,
fancy artwork.
it's
Yeah.
not fancy artwork, but the name to me is not inviting.
But Dust Bowl has a good name. In the brewing world, they
Yeah.
do some
Yeah.
really nice IPAs. They do a lot of different styles.
So I guess I've just
I
steered away
hear-
from it because it seems more like the beer you would get, like the Trader Joe's brand beer that just sits warm on the shelf. I don't know. I just didn't
Mhm.
doesn't really vibe with me. Taco Truck. I just
was
don't.
thinking it might be spiced. All these, I've seen this on the shelf, and I've always kind of assumed, wrongly, obviously, that it was some kind of spiced beer, like in
Huh.
a taco manner.
Yo, yeah,
But-
sure, dude.
Like maybe it had some cilantro
some
or some
cumin or
oregano
something,
or
yeah.
some cumin's everywhere in
Oregano.
Mexican cook. Cumin
fuck
is
are you
cumin and
talking about?
oregano. That cumin and oregano is key to Mexican cooking. and you can't
Oregano?
cook Oh yeah,
Mexican oregano, yeah.
yeah. You can't make pozole without oregano, man. Come on, let's
No,
get real here.
I can't.
All right.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm pleasantly surprised by this beer.
As am I. This is really tasty.
It's bright, it's clean, it's refreshing. There is that it's pretty aggressive bitter too. You guys get that?
It's firmly bitter.
There's a fair amount there to
Yeah.
balance it. It's not over the top,
No, not over
but
the
it's
top.
it's crisp. It's light and it's crisp, and because of that, I think the bitterness that is there, it does maybe stand out a little more than it would in a heavier beer. It's very light bodied.
Two
light.
things. What style would this be? What is the Mexican lager style? It's not just its own style, right?
2A International Pale Lager.
Okay.
What's fascinating to me is the Brewers Association dropped the new 2023 style guidelines today in advance of GABF 2023. And as popular as Mexican lagers are, this is still not an official style either for the BJCP or for the BA.
Yeah, I was looking for any style description, and yeah, it was not in any of the BA or BJCP guidelines.
That's odd. That's odd to
It's
me.
really odd given that Mexican lager is like the segment of the beer industry that is continually growing year over year. And you'd think that there would be, Bohemia and Negro Modelo, those are Vienna lager essentially, right? Because that
Yeah.
came from, and historically that comes from a time when there were a lot of German immigrants to Mexico, when like Napoleon III was the emperor of Mexico and some shit back in the 1800s. So
Late 1800s, yeah.
yeah,
And a lot of them moved to Texas and Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
And there's still some remnants of those imported beer styles in Texas too.
Oh yeah.
Shinerbach or whatever.
Yeah, you
I
got
mean, there's a
Which is
reason why
terrible.
parts of Texas, when they were required to have bilingual education, would have their second language be German, because a shit ton of people moved from Germany and Austria to Mexico in the late 1800s. And that brewing, and it's kind of funny. If you listen to mariachi music, sometimes when you hear that oompa, and you hear like there's a lot of German influence in mariachi. There's a lot of
yeah.
oompa stuff in there. And it's just that cultural mix of all the Germans that showed up in late 1800s. But in terms of a Bohemia is not a Corona or a Pacifico, and I think that it's hard for the BA and for the BJCP to figure out what a quote Mexican lager unquote is that's different from what's already in the guidelines.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so
think?
I mean, Corona Extra is one of them listed under 2A International Pale Lager, and in the current in the guidelines.
Asahi
So,
Super Dry, Birra Moretti, Corona Extra, Devil's Backbone Gold Leaf Lager, Full Sail Session Premium Lager, Heineken, Red Stripe Singha. But not Modelo. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But whatever, man. The commercial examples, that's fine. They're not the end all be all, right? We can
No.
make our own.
well, I mean, this is a style that's copied all over the world. Pilsners, like light, not German pils, but light Pilsner style beers that got popularized, and mass market beers took over and spread around the world, and just this is what you got. They're everywhere, and they're
Well,
all everybody
yeah.
wants to be.
I wonder what the Mexican
Budweiser.
beer market would be if the Germans didn't come over. Like, I wonder what their
Yeah.
beer impact would be, because it would exist.
Yeah.
I wonder what it
Yeah.
would look like.
Yeah, from what I understand, I mean, they were making the Mayans were making fermented chocolate drinks, and they were drinking. The Mexicans have been, for over 1,000 years, Mexicans have been drinking pulque. It's a drink similar to beer brewed with the fermented sap of certain agave plants. It could get over 6% ABV, but it's not a
try
beer with grains per se. But
I'd try it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like a mead, I would guess, at that point.
and there was some
Something.
fermented corn and
bet.
honey beverages. I'm
Yeah.
reading. There's a really good article on a brewery called Silver Bluff.
Yeah, I saw that earlier
yeah.
myself. You know what I miss as far as Mexican influenced beers go?
What?
Is the Mexican stout you'd get at Christmas. And Eagle Rock, JP, had a great one, like 2010-ish. And that was a style around 2010. People were making like a Christmas imperial stout with Mexican chocolate. Oh God, just the Mexican chocolate was great.
Yeah, there
You
was
have
a
little
big
ancho chile, just a
Yeah.
little bit of that heat. It wasn't hot. It was never a pepper beer,
No.
but you had that little burn that balanced out the chocolate. And oh my God, and Eagle Rock was one of the best.
I'll maybe I can get the recipe from Lee. We'll see what happens. He works
Cool.
at Party Beer now, but yeah, there was a hot moment where Mexican chocolate in pastry stouts was like the thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which is, I mean, it's good stuff, so why not?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
well, you know what? I like this beer a lot. I do think it's sort of on the lighter side. I mean, it's 4.7.
Yeah.
I think I want a little more malt
More
out of
heft.
ours. Yeah, what do you guys think?
The corn in it is really, really light. It goes down very easy. It's crisp and dry. Got a little sulfur in the nose, but that just at first that kind of blows off. There's nothing super challenging in this beer, but it's a very easy drinking beer. It would be great for hot weather, I would say, because might also actually be hydrating compared to some of the stronger ones.
I would also want
it
lower
is crisp,
bitterness.
smooth and refreshing, just like
It's
the can says.
It's sharp. It's too sharp for me.
Too sharp. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. What's the next one? You want to do the AleSmith one?
Well, let's go by ABV maybe. What's
Okay.
this?
I mean, we didn't start with
Modelo-
ABV, so I don't know.
Well, you did actually, because this is 4.7. It's
I
the
didn't mean
lightest.
to, I guess.
It's the lightest one we've got.
Farmers is 5.5.
The Modelo is probably
Classic.
it's 4.
5.2.
Oh, this actually no, you didn't. The Modelo is even lighter, so we should probably drink the 4.4 just to
Let's do
so we don't
Modelo.
go too much the other way.
Let's do the Modelo, boys. I love a Modelo. It's a great beer. Modelo rules.
It's tasty. It's a good beer.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna have
Although
to edit out the
the
dog barking.
I got a 12-pack of
Can't hear.
Modelo
Sorry.
last year, and like 2 of the cans, like just it was crazy. Just picking them up, they like just almost fell apart, and they were just spraying beer everywhere. I don't know what was up with that.
Man,
Must have
that's
been it was
wild.
just a bad can assembly
can.
there.
Look at that crystal clear. Look at that giant foamy head, dude. That's such a big. I love this beer so much. But like, smelling it, it smells metallic to me. It smells like someone put a penny in my glass.
Yeah.
Which sometimes Modelo can get like old. I think it's just old. What I would guess.
I get a hint of that. It's not overwhelming, but I get maybe
God,
you're
it's
talking me into it, but I get a hint of that.
Yeah, there's
it's
a little
it's
edge,
a lot for me.
like an oxidized edge or something that wasn't there in the taco truck.
Yeah.
It's just that taco truck's more fresh smelling,
Yeah.
tasting.
So drinking it out of the can, I sort of get the metallic, but not really. But putting it in a glass and smelling it, which I don't think I've ever done, very big metallic penny blood smell, which I don't like. The taco truck is definitely better, but there's something like that crisp, almost Heineken like yeast character that Modelo has that I really like.
Yeah, it's soft when you get into the flavor. There's something a little off-putting in the aroma, not
Mhm.
too bad, but flavor is nice and smooth.
Head to head, the taco truck is crisper and more bitter, and the Modelo is almost maybe slightly fruity.
Yeah, I gave you that.
Maybe a touch sweeter and it has a little more corn to it.
I think it's that yeast. I mean, because it does. Now that I said Heineken, that's all I can think about. It does very much is very reminiscent of Heineken to me, and not the skunk, part, but
Right.
it's that
Right.
the phenols from the yeast, I guess, or the esters or whatever it is. I always get those two confused. They seem similar to me. Like you could probably give me this, especially this one right now, and say, "Here's a Heineken," and be like, "Thanks, dude. I love a Heineken," and I would never really know it. I never would know it.
Well, you know it because it doesn't smell like skunk. But no,
that's true. Yeah.
Well, Heineken out of the
Heineken in
can-
cans doesn't taste like skunk.
Yeah,
It
out
doesn't
of
smell
the
like skunk.
can.
It's so good, dude. I miss those. That and Newcastle in a can. Those are my two. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know, but there's not really a whole lot I want to pull from this one, at least this version of Modelo. But I do think Modelo is more mass marketed. It's I guess like Budweiser, of course, right? Where it's not going to be full. It's not going to have a fullness in any way. It's sort of going to be, it just happens to be a lager from Mexico. I don't really, you know what I mean? I don't consider it necessarily a Mexican lager, but I'm at the store. I'm like, hey, I like this beer anyway. I'll buy it. But,
well, it's also
what I'm saying?
come from Mexico, and the taco truck came from Turlock. So it's like 2 hours versus, several days probably.
Just several. Do you know how far Mexico is? It's not that far.
It's not that far. I'm just thinking
kidding.
trains
I'm
and sitting in the
teasing you.
desert. You know how
Yeah.
it's wintertime, so probably the heat isn't that big of a deal. But it's like when beers come from Europe. Right? I mean, it's not like it's because it's from Mexico.
Right.
I mean, stuff gets unloaded in New York or New Jersey. You get stuck on a train. It's not refrigerated. It cooks all the way across that giant desert in the middle of the country. And it gets here and it's kind of oxidized and not at its best.
Yeah.
And it's entirely possible this sat somewhere on a train.
It's hit or miss.
Or somewhere,
Absolutely.
somewhere hot in Mexico for a while before it got here.
Sure. Anything you guys want to take from this, or should we move on fast?
They may refrigerate the trucks too. You never know. But
don't.
as I'm going back and forth again with the taco truck, it's actually I want to reverse what I said earlier. The taco truck has a little more of the corn character to it. It's a little richer malt.
Yeah, as it warms up, I
Modelo's
did
just
pull these like right out of the fridge.
lighter in the flavor.
Yeah, I prefer the taco truck.
I think I do too.
I think I do too.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's open the AleSmith.
That's
Let's
the
do it.
5.5. These are both 5.5. The next ones, or no, yeah, 5.
Which I was surprised to not only see AleSmith up here, but that they had a Mexican lager. Once again, so what I'm gathering from this style is that there's a lot of head retention. I mean, that's, it's weird. It's cloudy like the taco truck, but it's look at that head, man. Jeez.
Yeah, I poured my AleSmith a while back, and it kind of let it warm up some. But yeah, when I first poured it, it had the biggest head of any of these 4 beers.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
I'm getting a little perfumey hop in the nose up front. That's a little different than the other stuff we've tasted.
I agree.
Like a little floral thing. They might be using a German hop or something in this.
It's the aroma for me is like hay,
Yeah.
like golden straw, like warm straw.
Yeah, it's more grainy smelling than the other
Yeah.
ones. Less on the corn side, maybe. But yeah, there's something a little sharp in the nose there. That's not unpleasant, but as you sit, two of the other ones get, right now this is blowing off the initial, the sulfurs and the hop, the more volatile hop aromatics are going up in your nose here. So
Yeah, and like the
Floral.
aroma is crazy because it's
perfume, little almost like bubblegum like note to it. So there's something interesting here. Not really fruity now, but there's something in like
I don't know if it's
combination of
because I read on the can where they say hint of corn tortillas. And I read that
tortillas.
and I'm like, because when you throw I don't know how you
Yeah.
heat up your corn tortillas, but I'll put them on the gas stove and like turn them
Yep.
on so they get a little crunchy on the outside, a little burnt almost. I like a burnt tortilla. I'll be honest, in places. It's those can kind of have that sweet corn kind of thing. And I
Oh yeah.
am I getting that? Or did I just
Mhm.
read it from there and then it imprinted on my brain, my dumbass brain?
Mm.
But yeah, the nose is very rustic in a
Mhm.
positive way. It's very
Yeah.
ranch farm. It's almost like when I first poured it, I was like, oh, of course the AleSmith guys probably have some weird ass heritage corn or something like that. It's that kind of that kind of like intense, flavor of a grain or some sort of starch in there.
Yeah, I kind of what you say about the corn tortilla and the stoves.
Here,
My wife knows.
Get on your mic.
Sorry,
buddy.
my wife knows how to get those corn tortillas just right on the gas stove,
There you
and
go.
they're so good. I mean, I would burn them or they'd be too raw, but she gets them just right, and they're so good when they're warm and they're a little toasty, a little maybe slightly burned, like you were saying, a little bit.
Yeah.
Not they're not black, but you get like a few little burn marks, and that carbon flavor is just really good. It's yeah. I definitely get some corn tortilla out of this.
Their website doesn't really offer much. It just says what it says on the can. Made with the finest quality German and Vienna malts. As a subtle hop aroma, hint of corn tortilla, and refreshing finish. So I would imagine there's corn in here, even though they're not saying it. And I wonder why they're not saying it. If it's because they're still like corn is bad, that marketing from the '90s. That yeah,
that's what Miller does. Yeah,
I'm
doesn't
drinking it
mean
now.
it's bad if they add corn. I mean, corn is very flavorful and it's got a lot of good qualities to put in beer.
It's interesting drinking the alcohol difference. Like this beer has like some heft to it. I think it might be a little overaged. It wasn't treated very well. I guess I get like a raisiny thing, which by no account is the fault of AleSmith. It's more Bevmo, but that's the devil you Bevmo. You know what I mean? But there's a lot to like. There is a firm bitterness. That aromatic is awesome. I would love something that aromatic in a beer that we make. That corn, that warm corn tortilla char a little bit. Yeah.
Hey, like
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
perfumey and floral hops. Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
a nice balance to the aroma that's going on there. I like the flavor too. It's pretty easy drinking. I'm not getting big oxidation here, but might be just slightly.
You're not. Okay. Am I making
I'm
it up?
not
You
getting
think?
huge oxidation myself. There's maybe a little bit, but it's not huge to me.
Okay.
This is the cans we're getting have been around since September last year. If you look at the bottom.
Okay.
So it is a little probably past its prime.
Yeah,
I'm sure this is a
absolutely.
lot a lot better when it's a fresher can that hasn't been sitting at Bevmo for 6 months or whatever.
Well, also to be brewing a Mexican lager in September, hell yeah, dude. Good. Well, I mean, they're in San Diego, so of course. But yeah, I mean, I bet fresh. This would kick your ass. This
So
is how good
the
it is.
taco truck is 220-23. It's fresher.
Okay. All right.
And you can tell it's fresher.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
So I'll have to, when I'm down in San Diego for HomebrewCon, I'll have to go to AleSmith and taste some of this Mexican lager down there, fresh source. And I will report back to you. But
Yeah. See if you can talk to them about what's in it, like corn wise, and like I'm interested in that kind of corn flavor.
There's something complex here that's interesting. And when it's fresh, I'm sure this is fantastic.
Now I'm trying to find like if you can get flaked heritage corn. Bloody
you
Butcher,
could get all
malted red
kinds of
corn.
flaked heritage. Yeah.
Yeah, like already flaked, so we don't have to do a cereal mash.
Or flake it yourself.
I don't even know how. I wouldn't even know how to do that.
Heat it up and press it through some rollers.
Well, here's something from a place called Great Fermentations. Sugar Creek malted Oaxacan green corn crushed, 1 pound.
Green corn. I don't even know what that.
I don't know. This was made in Lebanon, Indiana.
I wonder if you could get that multicolored corn, like crushed and flaked. That would be cool.
Oh, that'd be great.
We were talking when Warren and I were doing the fuck is that dumb show we had? Heads and Tails. People using like
that was
Bloody
a great
Butcher.
show. I enjoyed that show a lot.
No one would come on. It was much like this show. Like we just didn't have people fucking on. It sucked. And the bottles are too expensive for us to just buy and sit there and talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, people are using like the Bloody Butcher corn. I think we've had people on the session that use that too. That's like the sort of heritage corn that makes the rounds, and you can buy it, but it's not flaked or whatever. And I don't know if I want to go through the process of whatever that means to.
You can get it crushed from Great Fermentations.
Yeah, but But you have to do a cereal mash.
Probably.
I don't even know what that is, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, it should be mashed with base malt for complete conversion. I saw Warren at CBC.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Nice.
It was pretty cool. We hung out for a little bit. It was always nice to see him.
Yeah, I guess. All right, let's do the last one.
Yeah.
Let's do the Farmers Brewing.
Okay.
Man, these pour very lively. That's crystal clear. So this is one I almost didn't purchase because, actually, there was one at Bevmo that was it was from San Jose, but it looked very like Partner Brewing, like someone just has a brand,
Yeah, I hear that.
But this one, I don't know. It was seems, I don't know. It was just the Farmers Brewing didn't really seem like I don't know.
Their slogan is "Put your lips on a farmer." You gotta like that.
Well, that was one of the reasons. Like, I don't know about that. That's
cheesy.
It's very late
Brewed
90s
Princeton,
marketing.
California.
Yeah,
Where is
so
Princeton, California. I've never
I
even
don't know.
heard of that.
But
Let me
that
look
is
that
a
up.
clear ass beer, dude.
Where is it?
It's a little sweet. I get a little sweetness off of this one.
Princeton.
It smells
Princeton
hoppy. Like it smells like
There's like a fresh, more American style hop quality to this.
yes, right.
It's like citrusy modern American hops.
Okay, Princeton is in Colusa County by the Sacramento River, a little bit west of Oroville.
Okay, nice.
I've never been there.
Okay.
No, I never even heard about it, but it
No,
looks
me
looks
either.
cool. I think their gig is like they farm all their stuff, like they grow all the shit. It's like farm to can.
That's
or whatever
cool.
it is. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy these guys, dude, and we'll see what's up.
Well, this is the strongest one of the four. It's a 5.5. The AleSmith was 5.2. Modelo was it 4.4? That's so light.
Super
And
light.
Taco Truck 4.7. So yeah,
Yeah, the
And
aroma almost smells worty, like under fermented or whatever.
Yeah, that's maybe I don't know if it goes so far as to call it worty. I do get some sweetness out of it.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right, maybe that's it.
But maybe, I mean, if you smell wordy, you smell wordy. That's your perception is your perception.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean my vocabulary can't be corrected a little bit, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So a 2A international pale lager can go from about 4.5 up to 6%. So that's kind of the common
Imagine
range. I
getting a
think
6% Mexican lager.
6 would be an outlier. Yeah.
Fuck, man.
I would say the Mexican lagers for this style, they lean towards the crisper, more corn heavy and really dry, refreshing side of the style. Whereas others can have a little more sweetness, others can have a little more alcohol. You don't usually see 6%ers, but 5.5 isn't uncommon.
No.
But no, Modelo at 4.4, and that's I'm sure considered a pretty standard Mexican lager to get there. And that's it's just in the hot sun, drinking a lot of, trying to get a few of these in without completely dehydrating yourself. It's it's par for the course, I would say, in a
Yeah.
sunny, hot climate. And Turlock's pretty sunny and hot in the summer too. They're in the Central Valley there.
Oh yeah, that's not far from Fresno.
Nope. But the brewery there is really nice. I've been there, and my band performed at an Oktoberfest party there. It was fantastic fun.
Oh wow, that sounds
I,
pretty
I
cool.
wore my lederhosen and had a good time.
Of course you did. There you go.
We got a hotel and stayed nearby, so we're just like, yeah, no holds barred. Just had a lot of fun.
What do you think about this
Nice.
beer?
I find it lighter and less challenging in the flavor. It's like an alcohol delivery mechanism. It's a little stronger, and it goes down easy and smooth, but it's not challenging in many other ways. It's just
Yeah, for me. I would. It's a little hot. I would prefer it at like if this was like 4.7, 4.8. I think it would really benefit because it would be so much lighter and like I think crisper.
But here I'm getting almost no corn flavor. It's really just kind of gone. And I don't know. I'm not getting oxidation. It tastes pretty fresh. It's nice.
Yeah, this is the thing. I like the beer. I think that it's well made. I think there's a lot of attention to detail. The ingredients are great. It's definitely the most different than the 3 or the 4 that we've tried. But if I were making this for me, I would lower the alcohol a bit because I think it throws it a little. I don't know if it's a Mexican lager.
This big in body. It's a very full-bodied beer. You don't expect a Mexican lager to have that much body.
Right. I think it's too much body. I almost don't think it's a Mexican lager. It almost tastes more like more along the lines like a Helles. But not the yeast flavor.
With that.
But Cooper is offended right now. He hung his head, and I'm not saying that like you go, this is a Helles because the yeast character isn't there, but in that sort of capacity of that type of malt heaviness.
I don't know. Yeah, it's. I don't think you guys are going off on a lot of tangents here. Body-wise, it's not a Helles.
I know it's not. I'm saying it's more along the lines of that than it is a Mexican lager.
It's more watery tasting. There's like the lightness of flavor. It's not like maybe watery in texture necessarily, or but it's just not. It's not crisp because it's lacking that.
It's flabby. It's flabby.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's flabby in like a wine sense. Coop, you're the guy that blends. What if you tried to blend a taco truck and a Classico?
Okay.
You get like the hops, like the bitterness of the taco truck, and like the corn tortilla and like the high flavor of the AleSmith. If I had an extra glass in front of me, I would do it right now.
Well, I brought a 5th glass out just for this purpose. So thank you.
Because you're the king of blending, man. You should be like good. You should have a blendery.
Yeah. The Classico with the taco truck. That is nice. So
I was thinking that maybe the taco truck, I like it a lot. It might be a little bitter for the style.
Yeah.
And if you combine that with the Classico, you maybe get a better bitterness level and also get the benefit of the other flavors of the Classico.
Okay, I'm
But the
blending
taco
the.
truck is very clean and it's got a lot of flavor too, but it's
I-
very clean.
I did about a 60-40. I think that's what I would want out of our
Mhm.
um
I just did the taco
Mexican.
truck separately with the Modelo. I tried that other blend and it was okay, but the Modelo has a little fresher and you know it's just light and out of the way. With the taco truck, bringing in some of that corn richness, it boosts the Modelo a little bit, and that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Here's the
But
thing.
then I'm just gonna
Yeah.
add the other two, of course. just for
'Cause why
fun.
not? Here's the thing about all these beers.
Oh,
They're all
man.
well made.
Yes.
And blending them together, it's sort of, I don't know, it's homogenizes all the, I don't know. I guess really don't know where I'm going with it. I think it's really neat. I think it's really cool.
It washes
Um,
out the things that you don't care for about certain ones. Like, oh, okay, that's a little too much this, a little too much that, and then they all kind of come together.
Yeah, but it also makes me appreciate those things when I drink them
Yeah.
individually. So it's very odd. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Like
the
Jason, you're always the
yeah.
one that talks about things that poke out. And sometimes when you blend, you kind of remove, or you the things that poke out kind of
Yeah.
don't poke out as much,
Right.
and they become maybe more pleasant because it's blended with
Yeah.
something else that
Okay.
Rounds it
takes
out.
down that the poke. Yeah, it rounds them out.
Retasting the ale smith as it's warm, I get honey, and I think that's oxidation creeping in. Just get because it's
Yeah.
9 months old.
Yeah, just even smelling it as I'm sipping it, it's like honeysuckle.
The farmers
Yeah,
doesn't
I
have that.
get a little honey in that
There's
as
nothing
it warms
challenging
up.
about the farmers. It's just alcohol and a little malt. There's not even it's missing that graininess. It's missing that corn.
Yeah.
That's part of what makes the alesmith interesting. And the taco truck with has a nice corn.
But I do like that malt flavor in that farmers.
Yeah.
Valle, I guess. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
Spanish.
Valle.
I do like that the core flavor of that beer. It's very
it
good.
tastes like a very good
But it
very
doesn't-
good malt, like a very good
Yeah,
pills malt.
yeah. It
but-
just doesn't taste like a Mexican lager. That's all.
It doesn't have
Yeah.
enough of the corn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they're going light on the corn.
I mean, drinking it out of the
I don't
can. Yeah, it's. I'm trying to figure out what it would be without the corn. I can't get over Helles, even though it's not Helles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's
Anyway,
it's probably
I was reading.
more
go ahead.
Helles like than any of the others.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it's not, and I know that, and I appreciate that.
Because
let's
it
take
also
a-
has a little hop, but it's also not the right kind of hop for Helles. So it's
Right.
interesting. It's
Yeah, I was talking more pure like malt and body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're taking a break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna figure out what we're gonna brew, what recipe we're gonna make, and we'll do it on the fly here. I think it'll be fun. So hang on, everyone. It's
Woohoo.
Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back.
And
All right,
that
thanks
would
for
take
sticking
about a
on.
few- Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
thanks
sorry.
for sticking around, everybody. We are back. We're gonna be plugging along with our Mexican lager show. Right? Is that all right, Brian Shar?
It's fine.
You got something to do?
No worries.
Okay, you sure? Because I mean, we're not. I don't really care. We can just
It's not a big deal. We're almost done. I
almost
can
done.
call her in half an hour. It's not a big deal.
Okay, I would like to be done in half an hour, so that's great.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Okay, so let's get started. Do I need to like pull up my fucking beersmith and like pay for the thing to get this doing, or Cooper, do you have something?
no.
All right. Well then, let me open this up and let me do this whole thing. Probably should have figured this out beforehand, but that's my fault.
A year.
We need to
just
have some corn in the recipe.
Charge it to Justin. It'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not. That, but it is a tax write-off. So what is this called? What's the beer style?
2A International Pale Lager.
International Pale Lager. There we go. 2A. All right, and we're gonna call this Dr. Home.
Dr. Ombre is what it has to be called.
Dr. Ombre.
Hombre.
Dr. Ombre.
All right. Okay, so what is the first? What are we doing for malt?
Well,
We're doing 5. We're doing a 5-gallon batch. Okay.
yeah.
So let's add a fermentable. What are we going to add? Is it going to be 2-row? Is it more of a German malt because it's a German sort of influenced style?
So classically, you would use 6-row barley in a, but you can use 2-row barley in a international pale lager.
I don't even think people make 6-row barley anymore.
Here's the thing. Yeah. I mean, the 6-row
Yeah.
barley is what you need when you're doing a cereal mash and you're gelatinizing the starches from your corn or rice.
Mhm.
And then you're adding it into your main mash, which needs more enzymes to convert it. 6-row barley has a lot more enzymatic power. The diastatic power is higher, and it's able to convert that 30% corn charge with
Okay.
no problem. It's got enough to convert itself, and then probably 70% extra or 100% extra. It could ferment a whole nother thing with no enzymes in it. But yeah, I mean, chances are a lot of these probably use 2-row barley.
Is that what we want to use? Like with some of these malt characters that are coming through,
Yeah.
do you think 2-row is that it, or should we do like a sweeter, like a Golden Promise or something like that to maybe offset or accentuate some corn, or you know what I mean? Like we can just sort of do all that.
This is not a perfumey Pilsner malt beer,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but I don't know that it's a 2-row. I mean, bring me a mix of Pilsner and 2-row, but corn as well, right? I mean, corn is going to be. We were doing this thing. There's a brewery in Phoenix. They do a Tio Oso Mexican lager. They're like corn is ubiquitous in Mexican culture. It's in the tortillas, it's in the food, it's everywhere. And we've talked about that in some of these beers about the corn influence.
Yeah.
And I think whatever we do, we want to have some corn, maybe some Pilsner, but I wouldn't have this
Yeah.
be all 2-row or 6-row.
Yeah, you can blend Pilsner and 2-row. I don't know if we're gonna find. Yeah, I mean 6-row. If we're gonna use, so we have to decide if we're gonna use flaked ingredients or if we're gonna use. I mean, do we want to be hard on ourselves or
No, I
do we
don't
wanna
think I would
be-
think we want to be easy on ourselves because,
Okay.
none of us really care that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're trying to have a good time.
Yes.
Okay.
But if we, and especially because we want Char to be able to do this. But I mean,
Mm,
Cooper, if you want, I'll tell you what. Let's do this and see how it works. And if we want to try to like be hard on ourselves in another challenge, we could definitely do something like that. I think that could be fun.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do a blend of 2-row and Pils malt. Maybe, I don't know, 60-40, 70-30. What do you want to do? I'll go mostly pale 2-row.
yeah, maybe 60-40. Or I mean, what Coop, do you think? Is there going to be much of a difference between 60-40 and 70-30?
I mean, 10%.
Or we could go right in the middle, go 75-25,
We could do that.
You on in favor of what? In favor of 2-row?
in favor of 2-row.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is not, I mean, German Pilsner, German Helles, all the German styles are very perfumey Pilsner.
It's going to
And
be
none of these
too
beers are are super perfumey like that.
too characterful, and it's also going to risk kicking off a little more sulfur than we want.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not getting sulfur in any of these. I mean, there's very light sulfur, but it's not. It blows off really quick, and it's not offensive at all.
It's a
these
sign
are
that
all
it's a lager beer.
very nicely lagered.
Okay. What's next? So, and then we got the corn. So how much corn
Yeah.
should we have? What's that percentage of?
Okay. Yeah. So the blend of 75-25 and corn, I would say at least 20%.
Yeah, I would agree with that because we want to be able to taste the corn.
You said
But it
20%?
shouldn't be overwhelming.
Okay.
20% of the fermentables. It's probably a good starting point.
That's sort of what I was thinking too.
We don't want it to be too heavy on the corn, or too, just too much cereal adjunct is going to make it too light bodied.
Yeah, but I think the point of these beers is to have it have it stand out. You know, it's like
Yeah.
anything, right? You want it to accentuate and be noticeable.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of Mexican lagers don't have that.
Yeah, you could, I could be talked into 25%, but
I think 20 is fine. I think 20 is fine.
okay.
I do sort of wish we had like heritage corn that's like flaked. And maybe I'll try to poke around the internet and see if I can find it.
Yeah, let's try to
That'd be
find
fun.
some interesting corn that's going to give more
Yeah.
character per percentage in the grain bill. And
Yeah, I'm
have it
totally
stand
on
out.
board with that.
Okay. So here's the okay. So of the total grain bill, what is the percentage of two-row and Pilsner and corn?
Okay, so of the 20% corn, and then
Mhm.
the remainder is 0.8. So 0.8 times 0.75 is 0.6. It's 60% two row.
Yeah, but so what do I put in for the for like how many pounds, and you know what I mean? So right now I have 20%.
Let's start with
corn.
percentages. Let's start
Yeah.
with percentages.
So right now I have 20% corn.
Right.
I
Yeah,
have
20% corn.
I have 32.6% Pilsner and 47.4% two row.
Okay, that's not right. It should be 60% two row, because it just adjusted for you, and you should have 20% of Pilsner.
Okay.
So that still gives you that 75% two row to 25% Pilsner malt. I think we should use the German Pilsner malt, not just any, like the Weirmann's or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. That's what I have. Increase. Oh, I don't want to increase that.
Okay.
Okay.
Although now, what we can consider is adding a little Vienna or something else
There
for
we
a
go.
little color and a little interestingness in the malt bill.
Well, okay. Well, so right now we have 9 points. Well, let's see. Okay, so first of all, that is way too high. But we can adjust that down.
We have a
because
9% ABV Mexican lager.
It says the estimated original gravity is a 1084, and that's not what we want.
1084.
But the
Let's
cool
make
thing
an imperial Mexican lager.
But
turn it into a 10-gallon batch.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about this is that it can
it'll scale.
It'll scale up and down, so I'm not worried about
Yeah.
that. We'll get to that, later, I guess.
Okay.
Do we want to add Vienna? I personally don't think we need
I don't
to.
know.
If we were going to go in the direction of a Bohemia or a Negro Modelo, I'd say yes. But based on these beers, I don't think we're going that direction.
I don't think so either.
What if we just did a very small percent? Just add
Let's do it.
2.5% or something, instead of
An ounce. Yes.
Sure.
just for an edge of interestingness.
Vienna malt. There you go. Let's decrease that motherfucker. Yeah, 6 ounces. There you go. All right, let me slide this motherfucker down. So what should be our starting gravity, do you think?
Well, probably around 1045.
Shar, you good with that?
Sounds right to me. That's
Okay.
going to get us to like a 5-ish%.
Okay.
We slide a little under 5. That's probably nice.
So we got
exactly. I think based on what we were discussing earlier, I think that we would like to be, maybe like a 4.8, 4.7, something like that.
Okay. So for the malt bill, we have 15. Oh no, excuse me. What the hell am I talking about? 58.6% two row, 19.5% Pilsner, German Pilsner, 19.5% flaked corn, and 2.3% Vienna malt. Okay. And that's 14.4 pounds, 1 pound, 10 ounces, 1 pound, 10 ounces, and 3.1 ounces.
And this must be a 10-gallon batch.
5-gallon batch.
Okay. 14 pounds of grain.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and a third.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's better.
All right, let's do hops. What are we doing hop wise? This is the problem. This is the ever present question.
Okay.
Whenever and this is the hard part about making a recipe from scratch, is because you want to just do. My mind goes in all different directions. Should
Yeah.
we do new school? Should we do classic?
Okay.
What are we?
Well,
What are we doing? Are we trying to? Maybe this is more of a better question. Are we trying to brew a beer that we like to drink, or are we trying to brew a beer to style? Where if we entered it into a competition, it would score. It would be the winning beer, obviously.
Yeah.
Is that what we're trying to do? I feel like that's what we
Yeah.
should be trying to do.
So we don't
Yeah.
want the hops to twist American. We
Right.
also don't want honestly, you probably don't want the hops to twist too strongly towards a really characterful German. Maybe maybe a neutral bittering hop like
Yeah.
Magnum
Yep.
at a very small amount.
Okay.
And then the aroma, maybe blending a couple of German hops like Tettnang and Spalt or something like that.
Yeah.
50-50. Just so it has that, that classic European, but to me the Hallertau I think is going to be too characterful, and it's going to take over with the floral. And I mean, the others are very nice, soft hops and have their own characters too. But if you blend them, it might wash out some of that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
No, I
Yeah.
agree, because Mexican lager is this really fascinating mix of indigenous ingredients and German and Austrian ingredients that were influenced heavily by the German and Austrian immigrants to Mexico. So I think there's having that German hop character in here would be great.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's not a super. This is not a style that has a lot of hop flavor, a lot of hop aroma, but a little bit should be here.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we're going to figure out how much hops to put in, and then what yeast, and then we're done. We're out of here.
Okay,
I
cool.
can't wait to brew this. So hang on, everyone. It's Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back. All right, here we are. I promised you. I told you we'd be back, and we are. Here we are. Okay, so we got Magnum, Spalt, and Tettnang. What are we doing? Are we doing the classic like 60, 15, 5 or whatever the fuck are we doing? Or how are we hopping this bitch?
I think I would just do a 60 and a 5.
60 and a 5.
Yeah.
All right, so definitely
Agreed.
Magnum 60, and then maybe just a Spalt Tettnang blend at 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not whirlpool hopping this thing.
And then add 6 pounds of mosaic.
Yeah, mosaic
6
cryo.
pounds of Motueka. Yeah.
Okay. Obviously the alpha acids are going to change when once we buy them or whatever, but they're default set. So let me scale this down, because right now it has 49 IBUs.
Okay.
So how hoppy do we want this?
That's a little bitter for this. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So the
I
range is 18 to 25.
Yeah, let's hit 20 or low 20s.
Yeah, I'm
Kinda try
down.
to split
That's
the
a good
meat,
idea.
it should have a little bitterness to balance, but nothing too challenging.
Right. This doesn't have to be in the low end, but it doesn't need to be pushing the high end for the style either,
Yeah, how about 22?
22 sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, so that brings us to 0.44 ounces of Magnum at 60, and that's at 12%. 0.44 ounces of Spalt at 5 minutes, and that's 4.75% alpha. And then 4.4 ounces of Tettnang at 4% alpha at 5 minutes.
You mean, was it 4.4 or 0.44?
0.44. They're all the same.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Did I say
You said-
4.4?
You said 4.4. Like,
Okay.
whoa, Nelly.
Yeah. No, it's all split evenly. It's all 0.44 ounces.
Yeah, I like that. 44. It can be our logo on the can. It's the 44 hop.
There you go.
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I think that's good. What yeast are we doing? That's the question. There's so many yeasts out there now. Normally I'd be like, oh, it's just White Labs, like whatever. But like, there's so many So many yeasts. Should we each choose our own? Should we just not tell the other person what we're doing for yeast and then we figure it out?
Well, there is a WLP 940 White Labs Mexican lager, pure pitch.
Let me get on More Beer because I think More Beer has like a bunch of other stuff too.
There's an Imperial. There's a
Imperial House. Yeah, I think we should do that. Let's not tell each other what we're doing with yeast and let's see what we choose.
It's a good idea.
You know what I mean? And see if we can just tell, or we can each maybe first come first serve, where it's like I get to More Beer and I go, I'm buying the fucking Imperial, or I'm buying the White Labs, and you guys have to choose something else.
I'm buying the hazy IPA yeast.
So we don't double up, and maybe we try to diversify a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think?
The only difference being the yeast.
Yeah, the only difference being the yeast. Yeah. Well, and so so Shar is brewing on his stove.
Yeah, I mean that is going to be a big difference.
But I believe they have flaked maize syrup. Are you doing extract, Shar? Or are you doing all grain or partial mash?
I don't know. I'm probably going to do like at least a partial mash, probably do a full mash just in my spaghetti pot. I'll do I'll do a gallon of this essentially.
A gallon?
Maybe 2.
Okay.
Probably a gallon and a half. Probably do all grain just because the spaghetti pot, has that center thing with the holes. I can lift that up. I can do my boil after I mash.
So you got the spaghetti pot with the screen and
exactly.
I could do mine that way too. I could just
we should all. I think part of the beauty of this is that we're gonna use the same ingredients, pick our own yeast, and we all have different processes. And that'll be fun. And, it'll be curious. I'll be curious how, what differences come out of the different processes we all have. And maybe when we're done, we'll give these all to, Taryn or my wife or your wife or something, and they can double blind the entries, and we can judge these not knowing whose is whose.
It's true. That's true. Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, we've got process difference and we've got yeast difference.
Yeah.
I mean, we could also just standardize the yeast and choose one. I mean,
we could, but I feel like the yeast difference is sort of fun. Okay. It's something more to talk about.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's do that.
I think we have to talk Shar into using your Pico Brew instead of the spaghetti pot.
I feel like we should. Well, I think you guys need to get together.
We'll talk about this off air.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that. All right, everybody. That's it. That's our Mexican lager show. I got 4 beers to finish. Well, 3 because I don't really think I want to finish that Modelo. That's definitely a beer to have when you're 3 beers in and it's really hot. You're like, okay, now I can start on the beer that doesn't taste very good. But
Modelo. You remember Schaefer? Remember when they had ads in the mid 80s? The one beer to have when you're having more than one.
Oh, hell yeah. If you want to get your homebrew,
had a drawing of grain on the can. That means it had to be good.
That's right. Light. If you want to get your beer on Dr. Homebrew, email Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com and we will evaluate your beer, live BJCP score sheet. If you are a commercial brewer and you want us to check your beers out and maybe help you, I know it's humbling maybe as a commercial brewer to put yourself in this position of dipshit home brewers trying to help you out, but these guys do know their styles. So if you're trying to like nail a style and really punch it up and you need our help, Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com. If you just want to see maybe what your odds are on the next competition you enter, is this beer to style, Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com. If you want to hash out recipe issues or if there's some funky flavor that you're not really sure about or whatever, Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com.
What if you brew meads or ciders?
You can get fucked, basically. No, Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com. Any beverage.
What about sake?
Brian at thebrewingnetwork.com. Any beverage you want to send in, anything you make at home, we will drink and evaluate accordingly.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
Accordingly.
Whoa. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. Please don't forget to stop by the 5 Star Chemical booth at NHC, right, Brian?
Yeah.
All right, Brian will be there stalking the ladies at.
I'll be there and
NHC Homebrew.
Like us on Facebook,
I don't really care about that.
Us,
but But if you're going to a Homebrew Con, stop by 5 Star booth, say hi.
Yes.
Thank them very much for being a part of this show, and we really appreciate it. What do you think
Cheers.
of that?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you.